Hey, how's it been?
I guess I should say welcome back. The last game of yours that I played was the puzzle game, right? So this is no wait, no, I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of two people with relatively
Mhm.
similar usernames. But yeah, Grimmstar. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That
Yes,
was for
yeah, you remember, yeah.
TeoJam. Yeah,
I
yeah.
have a
There's
PG page, so
good. Not a strict requirement. Like I do my best to like limit any like swearing or whatnot, but it's not like I'm never gonna hold my guests to that. It's
right.
whatever. But yeah, thank you so much for coming back on the stream. I'm gonna just post a link to Grimmstar because this was fun. This was made
Yeah,
for TeoGem, the theme being once more with feeling, and yeah, I think you'll anyone who wants to give that a shot. It's like a Star Fox with a sarcastic villain. It's a lot of fun. So
good,
do
yeah.
give that a try. And here is Red Fantasy, a short fantasy hack and slash. Anything I should know about the game before getting started?
Um, I hope you make it to the end.
I will do my best. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a
so,
little brutal, but well, I think you'll be fine.
okay, I will certainly try. So, can you talk a little bit about your background and your role on this project?
Yes, so I decided that I wanted to finish more games. So usually all the games that I finish are during like game jams. And even like when I do finish them, they're never like fully complete. And it's always because like I have like just too big of a scope.
Mhm.
Um, and so this for this game, I basically just went on itch.io and I figured out you can just like download assets like, and so I found some dude's assets. And I just decided to limit myself to only those assets and nothing else. And so the animations that I got are the animations that I have, the tiles are the ones that I have, and you know, and that's it, nothing else. And so from there, like, I'm limited to like, certain scope. And
Mhm.
I just kind of tried to use everything I could from the asset. I didn't end up using everything, but because I ended up just getting lazy, but it is yeah. I ended up using a lot of the stuff, or as most as I could.
Nice. I mean, I was gonna say like the artwork is beautiful, but that's the great thing is that so many people will just publish these quality
Mhm.
assets that you can. Were these like free to use or?
Yeah, so parts of it were free. I paid like I think $2 or $3 for like packs, like little packs of it.
Mhm.
But otherwise, like a lot of it was free. Yeah. I did like end up just buying and like tipping the dude because he was selling them for like, really cheap. But yeah, they're really
Nice.
cheap assets. Oh, by the way, there is sound. I don't know if you wanted to include that.
I would love to, but as I sort of mentioned before, I'm having some issues with Twitch Studio, and it's being uncooperative with. It would blow out the VOD volume, unfortunately. So we've got
Mhm.
to go without sound for now. But
Okay,
anyone
no worries.
anyone else can play the game themselves
Mhm.
and experience the full experience there.
Yeah, look at the
Um,
full experience of the sound. It's good.
okay, move and Z to roll, and then Z is blocked. Okay. It's the weirdest thing that oh god, if there's just like three controls, oh no, if you give me three keys, I will immediately forget one of them.
You only need you only need jump and attack if you really want. So just
Okay.
X and C.
That is probably what I would have ended up defaulting to in the end. um all right,
Yeah,
all right,
three is kind of like what I want to limit most of my games to because I'm the same. Like I can't keep track of more than that.
if it's on a controller it's a little different, but if it's on a keyboard, oh no. What were you saying about hoping that I could finish this on stream today? Well, I got half an hour, gonna do my best.
No worries. No worries. I'm
um
happy that you can play it and like show
yeah,
people the game because I like doing these things. It's fun.
absolutely. Oh, we've actually got an interesting. Is this intentional? Because I can sort of like jump and then attack, and I sort of do a slow fall.
Yeah. That was programmed in.
Not a bug; it's a feature.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I think we got to just run past this guy for now.
You can run past like 90% of the game.
Well, okay. Um, at some point, I do feel like I actually want to learn how the combat is supposed to work. Well, okay, and I mean, I can see I'm bleeding now, so Um, is there a way to recover health?
It's you get 2 lives until you get there are checkpoints,
Uh-huh.
and those recover your health. And then when you
Okay.
die, you also recover health.
Okay, well that's all I meant. That I was so worried that you were gonna make me like play through this entire game with like two hits, like Ghosts and Goblins style. Um,
No, you get checkpoints.
okay, there we go. Got the classic bonfire.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually added an extra checkpoint because because I did have like my brother played it. It was there's a
mhm.
really long stretch. Um, so it's a little easier than it was before.
Oh boy. As I said with the game that I'm working on as well, I'm a huge proponent of checkpoints. Oh wait, oh touching the same checkpoint doesn't restore my health.
Mhm.
Okay, well, let's do our best to keep going then. And if we die, then it's an intentional death to get my 100% of my health back.
Exactly.
Um, you heal by putting fire in your wound to stop it from bleeding, searing it shut, like Rambo 3. Oh boy, got a big guy here, and now we don't. Um, all right. So, as far as what you did on the project was the like actual implementation of the artwork and the combat, and can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so with the art, like I pretty much just got images, right? So
Mhm.
like I did my best to like the also the images weren't really well formatted. Like I don't know if the guy who made them, I don't know how he makes video games, but the sprites were in a really like weird like format. Not format like in like not PNG, but I mean like they were weirdly like in a weird atlas type of like thing where like the margins weren't consistent and it was really difficult like to like put the animations in like I had to like manually like cut out the characters and stuff. But aside from that, like since I had all the art, like a lot of it was like, all right, this character has like, XYZ attack, and so I'm gonna make him do the XYZ attack.
Mhm.
Done in Godot, and in Godot, like there's ways of pretty much kind of reusing a lot of your code.
Mhm.
Um, and so a lot this project was more to like kind of build up like I'm working on a bigger project, and it's kind of to like build up like a small library
Mhm.
of like code basically of like this. So this is like platforming code that I was working on, and so
Mhm.
a lot of these enemies like they uh like they use all the same code. Like it's just very small differences. Like the only differences between these like the wolf and like your character is that your character has like an attack like component, and
Mhm.
then the wolves have like a bite component instead.
Yeah.
And so um, and so a lot of it was just to build like an API to reuse for like a larger project that I want to work on, like a larger platformer.
Yeah. Nice. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh
The
boy. Yeah.
next uh, the next thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm doing my best to just like run past everything here.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, yeah. A lot. I intentionally gave like the option to do that because yeah, no, I realized that like sometimes you just want to go like through it and see what the end. So
Yeah. All right. Um, I think it's my only way of actually making any progress in this game, at least while I'm trying to focus on the interview at the same time as well.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's so hard to play while talking.
so do you have like a concrete idea in mind for like another like platforming action game in the future, or is this just meant to like lay a foundation you can sort of branch out from here?
Yeah. So this is part one of like my platforming stuff.
Right.
And this one focused a lot on like how do I chain attacks together? Because okay, so like these characters are all very simple where they each have one attack.
Hmm.
But if you get to the end, like there's a boss character that has like I think like one, two, three, four, maybe like five attacks. And so some of the attacks can be like chained together. And so you can have like a combo attack where you do like a horizontal slash, a thrust, and then like a swipe, for example.
Hmm.
And so those need to be chained together in some way, like a combo. But you also might have like a different type of attack, where, for example, like the one of the moves the boss has is that he can jump into the air and he
Yeah.
throws an axe at you. And so, like to build a system to like generalize those like different types of attacks was
Hmm.
was part one of like my platformer thing.
Right.
But the next part that I want to work on is I'm really into fighting, like boss fights. So I'm
Hmm.
probably gonna work on a combat specific like game where like I'm thinking of like a superhero game where you fight. It's just like a boss rush where you play as a superhero and you have to like kill other supervillains that are terrorizing like a city or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and that one will focus on so I have like a pathfinding algorithm that does 2D that does side scroller pathfinding with jumps and everything.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna add wall jumps to it. I'm gonna add um, climbing to it and also ledge hanging. And so a lot of the enemies are going to be able to like do wall jumping in real time and like kind of like follow you throughout like the landscape or whatever. And so my goal with that is just kind of like uh, to kind of to give the enemies like more uh, for them to use like the environment more than them just kind of like teleporting around, which I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of the platformers do because the AI can be sometimes really difficult with like the jumping and gravity and everything. Um, and so it'd be cool to have like a boss battle where like they have like the same skill as you, where they can wall jump and they can dash and do everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like once you've built that all out for your own character controller, it's quite tricky to get AI to behave in a way that feels like it's a tough balance, right? Because AI always has 100% of the information, right?
Hmm.
Like you can make a first person shooter AI that is always going to get pinpoint accuracy on the player no matter what. So
Hmm.
it's always a matter of taking this like high level 100% information breakdown and then tuning it down from there that it's still an interesting challenge. It doesn't feel like the AI is cheating. Um, and it ends up being a really complicated balancing act to sort of like, yeah, exactly, making stupid AI that is hard, as Headless One says.
Yeah. And one of the other things is like something that's uh like that part I think is difficult to do that balance, but the other part is like just like something simple like in a platformer getting an enemy to go from point A to point B and
Mhm.
they have to like jump and do different things, maybe climb a ladder and stuff.
Oh
That by
yeah.
itself I think is like a difficult problem. Um and so I think that's part of the reason why like if you play Hollow Knight, I don't know if you have you
Mhm.
seen Hollow Knight
Yeah,
gameplay
yeah, I've
or
seen a
played
full
it?
play of it.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Yeah. So like like you see like a lot of the bosses like they don't really interact much with the environment. It's
Mhm.
more like they kind of teleport around or they jump and they shoot at you, but they don't really like jump or on like the different platforms. They don't have like the grapple that, Hollow Knight has where you jump on walls and stuff, you know? They
Yeah.
kind of just do their own thing and they float around. And I think it's just because handling, pathfinding with gravity and wall jumping is like it's not really trivial. It's a
No,
really
it's
difficult
incredibly
problem.
difficult, and I
Yeah.
can say that from experience because I made a game that features, uh, if I can pull this up, Sarnak Fortress. Um, so I'm sure there'll be something in the sample video here, but yeah, the way that I approached creating a 2D AI that would also like jump between platforms and attack the player in a dynamic way was to sort of create points in the environment. Like the AI would try to path towards the player. Yeah, there. So that the camera really goes nuts in this game, but you'll see it better with this boss
Mhm.
character here.
Cool.
The player will jump down here, and then the AI will realize, oh, the player is below me. Okay. Um, there are marked out jump points along the edges of these platforms,
Mhm.
and the AI will hit that and say which one of these arcs brings me closer to the player. Okay, I'm going to take that one, and then I'm going to try to move towards the player and then jump
Oh,
again.
interesting. That's really cool.
So it's sort of like creating my own two-dimensional nav
Mhm.
mesh, as it
Yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah. So mine, so I've done it before where I even got, wall jumping and jumping and everything, and I did it with A Star actually.
Mhm.
And to do it with A Star, it was really interesting because you can actually remove like blocks dynamically and add them dynamically, and they can just automatically figure out where those jump points are.
Right.
And same with wall jumping, which was actually not as difficult as you might think to implement. Like,
Yeah.
but it's also deterministic as well. So it knows for a fact, like, hey, I'm not gonna just try to jump here.
Hmm.
I know for a fact that this path leads me to this location. But the other part of it is that's interesting is that you could set locations in the air, and so a lot of attack setups, like for characters in a game I was working on, all of the attack setups are like
Hmm.
you're in the air and you do like a sideways dash, for example. And so I can set like a point in the air, like above the player, for example, and tell it like,
Hmm.
hey, just try to get to this point into the air and then do your down attack on him, and then you're good to go. And so it becomes super powerful with that. And I think it's a really I think it'll up the challenge for like the side scroller type of games with
Oh,
bosses.
absolutely. If you can create a robust system that is able to make use of those like nav mesh points, that's going to be super impressive. And yeah, I can
Yeah,
only
yeah.
imagine the kinds of like boss
So
encounters you're able to create with that.
yeah, yeah. So that's the full focus of my next project. And hey, like I don't know if this matters, but I really want to try to become like a regular. I don't know if I will, but I'm gonna do my best to like come on, and I'll be that guy.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to talk through things as we reach each phase of production. Ah, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think this is
This is
the. I
hard
killed one
area.
of them. No, oh my god, the reach on that clap is so far. And you don't have
It's
any
difficult.
iframes either. Like
The
you
role
just
has iframes.
yeah, but you're when you get hit, I mean you don't oh no. So you can just get hit by two
Yeah,
guys back to back and you're just insta dead.
yeah,
I do
yeah.
appreciate that you don't take any damage from just touching. That's cool.
I
Um,
I I always hate that. So like I always opt to try to make it difficult in different ways because it's so easy to accidentally just like hit into a guy, you know?
exactly. Yeah. It's definitely a trade off though because then it makes it possible as I did in this entire game to just sort of cheese it and run past everything. Because if you
Mhm.
don't have those, like you have one of two options really. You can either make it so that everything has to like you have to kill it in order to proceed, like what we're doing here.
Mhm.
And you can either do that all the time, or you can make it so that physically touching things kills you.
Yeah. So one thing I was thinking of doing is actually just make them solid,
Hmm.
but it becomes more difficult because they
Oh
can't
yeah,
jump. So they can't jump over each other or anything like that. And I don't like getting them stuck. And I could make it so like they could walk through each other, but the player can't walk through them. But I
yep.
didn't want to make it like that level of like difficulty. And so I like the idea of like, people being able to walk through them and walk through everything and kind of cheese it that way. I think
Hmm.
it's part of the game, I think.
Yeah, and whoa, it's as true in this game as it is in Dark Souls, where you just sort of have the opportunity to like just run for it if you're trying
Mhm.
to get past things. It is viable up to a point. Like you eventually do get cornered and surrounded, and that's not going to happen in this game because it is like I guess anything that's not on the current screen isn't active or alive.
Mhm. Yeah.
I do notice that projectiles will persist between screens, though.
That's something I kept forgetting to add to like an issues list, and I should have just made a break on like the blocks, but yeah.
Mhm. Um, well, yeah, I mean, it really depends on the architecture. Like, that's either something that's, yes, Lurk, not a lie, it is an absurd amount of ketchup. I'm gonna try and sort of like kite these guys together. This is really my impatience is getting the better of me. Because if I just hit these guys once and then try to jump out of the way, but
Yeah.
once their attack patterns get staggered, it becomes really hard to get any hits in.
Yeah. Another easy way to do it is to roll, like you can, instead of doing the two controls are doing X and C,
Yeah,
you can do Z and C, and
yeah,
rolling is really like OP. Like you get a lot of iframes with the roll.
yeah. I sort of tried the roll at first, and oh my god. um. Yeah. I'm gonna keep on trying.
All
Um.
good, all good.
uh, as I said, I feel like I would also be doing better at this if I had a game controller. Have you thought about using the new input system in Unity?
This is Godot.
Right,
But
right, right.
they can, yeah, I can use controllers for sure. I always like for this type of game, like I just
Mhm.
never, it's not worth, like it's not even like that big of an investment, honestly. I should just do it. But my excuse is that it's too much of an investment.
I mean, isn't that the sort of thing that you can like carry from project to project though?
Yeah, it is. It's funny. It's just I'm just so lazy to do it because I have to like basically it's so stupid, but basically I just have to break out one of my Xbox controllers and plug it in and like
Mhm.
set it up, and it takes literally like 15 minutes, but it's
Yeah,
the
but you got
most
to
boring
stand
15
up.
minutes. I have to stand up, I have to go to like my drawer and like plug it in like
Um, yeah, there's a reason that I sort of keep a controller just like at my desk at all times because I do want to sort of keep that compatibility and things. I don't think they outrange me, Lurk Not Ally, but the thing is that I there's a like when you attack, there's a cooldown before you're allowed to jump again. Like here's me pressing attack and then mashing jump. You are committed for like solid what feels like maybe 3/4 of a second. So forget doing any combos. I'm basically trying to hit and then jump. But even then, like you're locked into that attack for so long. Oh my god.
you have to
Oh.
wait. The dodge does cancel the attack.
Okay, dodge
So
cancels the attack, but yeah. No, believe me, Excavator. I know I have the ability to roll. Can I roll? No, it's not going to happen.
it is a good point though. I'm gonna start putting in one of the big reasons I actually didn't have a controller input is because I was on a Mac and they just and like controller compatibility with the Mac was like just very annoying.
Mhm.
Um, but now I recently got a PC and so I could just easily plug in an Xbox controller and hook it up. So I will be doing that in the future. It's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's for a game like this, like uh, even it's just a preference of mine as well that I would rather be playing with WASD and space to jump and then something else for attack.
Mhm. Yeah, I've always used like a lot of like the games I used to play when I was younger always had arrow keys and X for jump, C for attack, and Z for like utility.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, I've always like all my games like have that same like cat mapping.
Well, yeah, it's what you're used to. Like I think
Yeah.
the reason I got so used to using WASD space is because of Minecraft. Like I put a lot of hours into that game. At
Hmm.
one point, I haven't even killed a single one of these guys. Haven't died yet. Whoa! And just like that, can't underestimate the last one. Please tell me there's a checkpoint. No, no, why would you do this? Why would you do this? No!
I didn't get to see it, but I just saw it. There's a good 10-second delay. But I heard
Yeah,
the reaction first.
yeah. There's a very significant delay. Ah, yeah. No, remember you are speaking to somebody who mods Dark Souls so you don't lose souls on death because I and whose design philosophy involves putting very frequent checkpoints so that you don't have to do anything over again because I beat this fight. I shouldn't have to do it again.
I feel that, yeah. I the funny thing is like the people that like I've tested it with,
Hmm.
like they beat this in a couple tries, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just keep making it harder. And then I
Oh,
realize that like sometimes it's like, all right, maybe it's just me.
difficulty is something you should be able to opt into or out of. Like, absolutely give people the option to adjust the difficulty both ways. But this is insane. These guys take so many hits, and the fact that there's four of them, and they can. No,
Yeah.
I'm
I
already one
think
hit down. Let's just take the death.
yeah, I think the strategy is really to use the roll because the roll does the invincibilities.
Yeah, I know that that's the right way to play, but those keys aren't next to each other on the keyboard, so I gotta just keep jumping. Oh boy. Well, let's take another death. Oh, downward thrust like in Zelda 2. That would be fun.
That would be good, yeah. He would have that if it came with that.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing about using an asset pack is that you don't have the capacity to add to it unless you were to commission original artwork.
Yeah, I mean, like I could go in and like edit the art myself, but like I said, like the goal of this was to keep like you know I could keep adding stuff like the character. There's a lot of ideas I had while making this,
Hmm.
and I know for a fact that I won't finish it if I if I just kept adding whatever I wanted to. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you saw me beat the four guys once. I think that's as far as I'm gonna get. Uh, oh boy. Okay. Um,
That was a good run.
well, we'll continue with the interview for now, at least. Can you recommend a useful shortcut or a clever hack in the Godot engine that you think would be useful to others?
Yeah, sure. So with Godot, one of one of the things I did in this specifically is that
Mhm.
I wanted to make the reload as fast as possible, and so there isn't like the scene. I don't know how Game Maker works, but I'm guessing there's like a scene, and
Yeah.
then you can switch scenes, and you know the scene that you switch into is the one that's displayed, and the one that you just left gets deleted.
Right.
Um, and so and a lot of times to reset, you just delete the scene and just put the scene back up.
Mhm.
Um, and in this game, I wanted to make the load, even though like it would take no time, I wanted to make it like super duper fast without any like spikes.
Right.
I didn't reset anything, and I kind of was just testing out like a method of doing this.
Hmm.
But like the entire scene is the same. It's just all the actors in it that like have like a state after you kill them,
Hmm.
um, they get reset. And so when you die, there's like a signal that's sent into the ether basically in Godot, and then that signal gets eaten up by some object, and the object's like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and call every single. There's a method in Godot. This is the trick.
Yeah.
There's a method in Godot to call the same method on a bunch of objects under the same group. And so I basically had these initializers that
Hmm.
had a reset method on it, and I just did, all right, Godot, get me all the initializers in the scene and just do the reset command on them, and
Right.
then my scene's like set up perfectly. And so I could basically add this reset to any of my objects, and it almost like it's very close to automatically like resets any object that I add this component to. And so it makes it
Nice.
like super quick to reset. So I really like the grouping system in Godot. It's a cool system.
Yeah, that's a really cool trick. I guess uh the one thing that I could see as being a little inefficient is the original sort of like, hey, find me all these objects. Like,
Oh
are
yes, so
you?
that's something that's great actually
Yeah.
because so the way that Godot works is that you initially put them in a group, and then as
Hmm.
soon as that object is created and put into the scene, it gets added into a cache. And so when you're looking up you're not really looking up these objects in this group, it's just returning a list of these objects that's already like stored.
Nice. Yeah, I'm never gonna be able to beat this. That's absurd projectile throwing, guys. Um, Hello, memes friend. Welcome to the chat. I did see your message, but I was in the middle of playing, and also you were speaking. I didn't want to interrupt. Yikes. As long as we keep chatting, I'm gonna keep trying. But gosh, this is so difficult. Like, you see, that there's people who just like get through it no problem, a couple tries.
Well, yeah, so I was really surprised honestly because I was expect so I sent it to my coworkers today,
Hmm.
and all of them like I sent it in within like less than 5 minutes. They're like, "Wow, great game, man! I love the boss at the end, great music." I'm like, "What?"
Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah. So
Yeah,
if you
I mean,
want
you know
to,
what? They're all a bunch of. I mean, I don't know. I put it okay. So I only have 50 people about work, but like I put it into like the video game chat, and 5 people
mhm.
responded. So maybe it's like the ultimate gamers. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe the people who can hold more than two buttons in their head concurrently. I hear that's an important skill.
Yeah, it's a good point though. I should really think about like the button layout on the controller. Do you think it would be easier with a controller?
Yeah, for sure. Because I would
Mhm.
have A is jump, and then I would have right bumper be attack and left bumper be dodge, and that way I never have to move my fingers on
Mhm.
different keys. I
That's a
just
good
have
point.
one
So
finger per button. Well,
okay,
that's what I
yeah,
have right now. Like in theory, I have my
yeah,
my fingers resting at like my
yeah. But I think what I'm gathering mostly is that like from this at least is that I should like just work on a system for button mapping and also like add controllers because it seems like I've always like needed like that seems like a thing I literally needed every single one of my games.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that it is absolutely something like code that you will end up reusing for sure.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it may as well be something that you add like hey, you've already got this whole project built out. Maybe it's something you can add to this and put like a 1.02 version out.
Right, yeah. So,
Um,
oh, the other thing with this game is that there's a punch. So there's two parts to the asset. There's like this forest theme and a castle theme.
yeah,
And so maybe not this month, but next month or sometime in the future when I'm bored of working on whatever project I'm working on, maybe I'll, update it with all these features. I will be adding, I'm gonna make sure to add, like take your feedback and add like little fixes. Like I'm gonna make sure this is beatable, like adding like checkpoints between these characters, these like sections, I mean. But
please.
I'm not gonna add, but like the controller input will come in, next time I update this game, and I'll make sure to have the castle part two in 2.0.
Because that's the thing. Like, don't get me wrong. This is hard. I'll beat it. I just never want to have to do it again. And
Oh
that's
yeah, I
that's the
get
thing
it.
that's really demotivating.
Yeah, I totally get it. And like I said, I didn't expect this to be like I didn't expect this first. I expected the entire thing to be like the difficult part, not the individual ones. I didn't expect it to be difficult. That's all.
Oh no! Please don't! Please don't! Please jump! No! God. The projectiles get thrown so quickly. Um, oh my gosh. Okay. Headless One mentions main menu with keybinds plus sound, so you can. Oh, there is sound in the game as well. Like, please remember that there is like music and sound effects in this game. I'm muting it for now to preserve the fidelity of the stream
Oh,
audio.
I think he's saying that like sound option as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. That
Yeah,
works as
and
well.
that's totally true. Yeah, so that's actually something. It's a really good feedback that I should get those things like for every one of my projects. Honestly.
Yeah, because here I will use my hotkey for launching my project, and I can show you just real quick an example of what I have. Um, Basically, in all of my recent Jam games, I'm using the exact same menu system. It's really janky, and it's made in Game Maker. I'm absolutely going to create a better version of it. I accidentally launched the HTML5 version, like launch Windows instead. That'll compile faster. Um, but yeah, once you create a menu system, you can pretty much just like reskin it, reuse it, and you can have useful things like adjusting the sound effects and music volume, toggling full screen, preventing, allowing, or ignoring gamepad. Um, Hello, toxic meme. Wow, I cannot read the leak speak on that one. Meme lads 4. Okay,
Oh
toxic
yeah,
meme.
this is hard. Yeah.
Um, All right. So thank you for translating late speak, lurk, not a lie. But yeah, take it from me. That game that I posted on, that I had made on, that is released to Toxic Marmalade. Okay, okay. What's the K?
Yeah, the case a little weird, buddy.
Um, okay. So the game that I released on Steam, one of the top negative reviews that you will see is someone complaining that they left their HOTAS plugged in, and that I was a lazy developer for not ignoring the gamepad input. So ever since then, I've included an option to ignore gamepad controls, and you should too. But then, yeah, I've got the ability to display the active controls. I've got options for enabling disable camera shake because, again, some people like me get motion sensitive and get sick when you're exposed to camera shake. Then I've got some control options that are specific to this game. This one I'm especially proud of. Jump control, you can switch between normal or dual because this game has variable jump height. If you switch to dual control, you will have one button that jumps at full height and another button that jumps at half height. So there's separate buttons in case you don't have the fine motor control.
Oh, nice, 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 nice.
And then options for like switching, teleporting between worlds, switching to a different game. This is you can tell by the fact that text runs off the screen. I'm in the middle of working on that. But yeah, so we are sort of coming towards the end of our time here. So I just want to ask a follow-up question then is where can people find you, or a wrap-up question, I suppose. And if anyone has any questions, now's the time to post them in chat. So where can people find you on social media, and do you have any other projects that you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so the best place to find me is on my Twitter, and so that is my username, Lucrecious underscore.
Okay.
Um, I could just send it to you actually.
Yeah, I've
Hold
got it
on.
right here. I'll post that in. There we go.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And that's pretty much the best place to follow what I update. Aside from that, like I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch probably in the next month, like game
Nice.
development and playing games. And we'll see how that goes. But yep. So those are the two places, Twitch and Twitter. Twitter the best place for updates. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me for the interview today. This has been challenging, but it's fun. It's definitely. I'd love to see where this goes from here. I don't have as much time as I'd like to give feedback on it, but if you do come back on the stream and maybe with a like 1.1 version of the game, then I'd be more than happy to play it again and give some more feedback.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll make sure to. I'll be back for sure at some point. I don't know
All
when,
right.
but I'll be a regular. I
Sounds
mark my
great.
words. See you.
Looking forward to it. All right. Have a good evening. Bye bye.